Today we'll be covering the EPCOT International Festival of the Holidays for 2024, everything that's new and returning, and of course, the foodie guide. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, November 17th, and you're listening to episode 62, 2024 EPCOT Festival of the Holidays. Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. Disney Parks blog dropped their EPCOT Festival of the Holidays foodie guide this week, and we'll be covering that in today's episode. The massive tree at the entrance to the World Showcase is officially up, and Christmas decorations are up all around EPCOT. They'll continue to come up as the start of the festival nears on November 29th. Disney announced refurbishments coming to 3 resorts in 2025. This is above and beyond the refurbishments that have already been announced for next year and beyond. Disney is keeping busy on that front. The Copper Creek Villas and Cabins at Wilderness Lodge will get some TLC from May through December of 2025. Port Orleans Riverside will have the Magnolia Bend area rooms refurbished from April 2025 through January of 2026. And Pop Century will be getting room refurbishments from March 2025 through February of 2026, almost a year there. Guests may see or hear construction during the daytime at these resorts during these timeframes, but Disney did also say that all resort offerings and amenities will be operating as normal throughout the refurbishment, so guest impact should be minimal. Over in Disneyland on the West Coast, their Tiana's Bayou Adventure is officially open to all guests. The queue line on the West Coast is shorter, and the ride-through seems to have less empty space. I know people have complained about that at the Disney World version, but we personally love it, and we didn't really feel like that was actually a problem.
No, I agree. I never found it to be a problem at all.
No, 100%. It's exactly the same ride through that
Splash Mountain.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly the same. The logs don't look any different.
No, and the space that you're in, that hasn't changed
Nope.
either, right? It's just what's in this space has changed. Exactly. And for us, it just feels like it always has.
You do the exact same route you would always do, except for actually you're not in queue as long because it's virtual right now.
No, exactly. And reminder that the flumes in Disneyland are single seating front to back, whereas in Disney World, it's side by side. It's kind of a reverse of the Space Mountain situation on both coasts, whereas our version is front to back and theirs is side by side. Early reports are that this ride gets you soaked, like way more than Disney World's version, so be warned. Having said that, we both got soaked both times.
We knew better. We shouldn't have sat in the second row.
But you're right.
The first time we rode it, we were in the 4th row and it wasn't bad at all.
Right.
Like it was just like a splashing, which is fine. On a hot day. It's actually kind of nice. The second row, though, we were soaked.
And we were the second row twice in one day.
Yeah, so that was a lot.
You're right. Okay. Walls have started to come down around the new gift shop and queue at the Haunted Mansion, still at Disneyland. That's in California. The new shop looks really cute and fits in with the whole New Orleans theming in that area of the park. The theming inside the store and the available merch is likely to be fairly close to what already exists at Memento Mori in Magic Kingdom. Downtown Disney announced 2 new restaurants as part of the expansion. This is just some of the restaurants and stores that are coming to the new expansion, but these will be Arthur & Sons Steak and Bourbon, which will have prime steak cuts and handcrafted cocktails, and Pearl's Roadside Barbecue, which will be a quick service restaurant serving menu items like pulled pork, brisket, and other barbecue offerings, as well as craft beers and cocktails. In merchandise news, Disney and Lululemon collaborated, and the collection is amazing, okay, but expensive as you may have guessed. They have sweaters, t-shirts, crew necks, pants, shorts, crossbody, and hip bags, water bottles, hats, beanies, you name it, they have it. It's extremely popular and is limited, like it's a limited time offering, so don't wait if you've got your eye on like a specific item. You may not know this about me, but you're learning it now. I love Lululemon clothes and Disney, obviously, so I already have some of it in my closet and ready to go for my solo trip in January.
Yeah, you definitely like both those brands. Yep. So for you, this was the perfect collaboration.
Yep, exactly.
All right. So it was definitely a busy week this week with Oliver on those evening nights there, if you want to call it, for a course at work. But we did do something fun as a family yesterday. Disney on Ice was in town this weekend, and we went to the 3:00 show yesterday afternoon. It was such a good show.
Yeah,
we
agreed.
Absolutely loved it. The kids had a blast, and they were so excited. It was actually Oliver's first time seeing Disney on Ice, and if you can actually believe that.
It's true. Yep.
And I actually hadn't seen it since I was like 7 or 8. I can't even remember. I can actually remember being there though, and remember thinking, wow, this is so cool. So it was fun to see my kids get to experience that. So we weren't quite sure what to expect, but yeah, we were wowed. It was a really, really great show. having a taste of Disney so close to home was definitely nice. So it's fun to be able to do those things in between the trips.
Yeah, agreed 100%. It was so great to see, like Mickey, Minnie, and the gang, as well as like a ton of other Disney characters. I couldn't like believe actually how many characters.
I know.
At home in old Regina, Saskatchewan. But really, the music, the skating, like these are really, really talented skaters.
Oh, so talented.
There's like acrobatics too, with like, like suspended like arms and whatnot. The whole show was just awesome. I didn't know this before we bought our tickets, but there's actually different shows of Disney on Ice depending on the city and the date. And our show was Magic in the Stars. And it was just like so special. My favorite bits were probably Encanto and Moana. Those were really well done.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the cars were super cute too. Seeing Lightning McQueen and Mater on the ice was super cute. And the kids got a really good kick out of that. They were both wowed when they saw that.
Agreed.
And then the finale was super great as well. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. 100%. It was awesome. And if they come back next year, like we're going again for sure. Like, not surprising though, right? Because Disney always does such a good job with their entertainment. Like it's Disney level entertainment. Like it's just what it is.
It felt Disney. Yeah, it didn't
100%.
feel knockoff Disney. It felt Disney.
Yeah, 100%.
So apart from that, we are definitely trying to get ready for the holidays, but it's actually been really hard to get some shopping done given everything that's been going on. But then after this week, everything kind of settles down again and we can get into it and get some stuff done because Sophia's birthday is actually at the beginning of the month and then it'll be Christmas before we know it. So I'll be using my evenings once Oliver's no longer on this evening course to get out because the stores, most of them are open till at least 9, so I can get a good chunk of shopping done and not be disturbed.
No, exactly. It's busy time of year like we're sure it is for many of you as well. Now, with that said, let's get into today's main topic, which is EPCOT Festival of the Holidays for 2024, which will be kicking off like soon here on November 29th, which is less than 2 weeks away at this point. Disney Parks blog dropped their festival foodie guide this week, and we'll get into that in today's show. And as always, there's lots of fun entertainment, activities, and snacks to look forward to at this year's festival. We really do love EPCOT's festival, and that love has kind of grown with time, right? It's not necessarily something we were super focused on during our first few trips. But with every subsequent trip, we've definitely gained a much deeper appreciation for the festivals, and we seriously look forward to them like in a major way nowadays. We obviously love grazing at the food booths during whatever festival is going on during our trip, when it's just the two of us, of course, right? But we've started doing this with the kids as well, getting them in on the eats and the scavenger hunts, and we're definitely more involved in the festivals than ever before during our trips nowadays. It's such a great way to enhance your EPCOT day. We'll often hear people who have never gone to Disney or, they just went for their first time and they didn't love EPCOT because they felt like there just wasn't much to do. And I kindly disagree. And that's not because I think that's just coming from a place of inexperience, right? Rather than anything else. There's a lot to do at EPCOT. And while you do have some headliners, like think Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Frozen Ever After, and maybe even Test Track when it reopens, right? There's not quite as much big rides as, Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. But every park kind of has its own persona in that respect. And I think that if you change the way you look at EPCOT and manage your expectations on exactly what's there, you're going to have a much better experience overall. And it's not that there's not many rides, because there is, and there's some seriously good ones at that. Guardians is probably like our favorite
hands down
ride in Disney World, like as of this recording, right? But walking around the World Showcase, checking out the different pavilions and the offerings they have at each location, like we're saying, if there's a festival, taking part in that is just a great way to have an awesome day at EPCOT.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. There's a lot going on at EPCOT at any given time, and it does give us much different vibes than parks like Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios that feel much more ride focused.
Agreed, yeah.
But like Oliver said, there are some solid rides here, and there's so much more going on as well. It's usually such a welcome break from the big park days when we're just going nonstop from ride to ride. We really like slowing down at EPCOT, and we enjoy walking around the World Showcase, taking it all in, eating all the food. We just love it. Yep. And on that note, let's get into what the Festival of the Holidays has to offer. And let's start with our favorite part of the festival, like I said, which is the food. As you are likely aware, the food booths around the park receive different food offerings depending on which festival is going on at that time. During Festival of the Holidays, they're called the Holiday Kitchens, and they offer seasonal snacks, eats, and treats from the different countries represented in the World Showcase. Plus, Communicore Hall finally opened this year, and we saw 2 new booths at the Food and Wine Festival when we were there, and now there are 2 new booths for the Festival of the Holidays as well, which is a very exciting thing. It's always exciting when new stuff comes in.
Yeah, agreed.
These are experimental prototype cookies of tomorrow and favorite of the festival pass. So we actually appreciate the play on words here from these new booths.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. Well played, Disney. Well played. So one thing we'll quickly mention as well is that the cookie stroll is back and alive. And it's just back in the way it's always been this year. Reminder that every festival does this, right? So it's a food scavenger hunt where you purchase select snacks from the food booths and redeem for a prize, which is usually another snack themed to whatever the festival is. For Festival of the Holidays, it's another cookie. You'll usually have a pick of more than the required 5 for the prize, so you're not stuck buying something that sounds like completely unappealing to you, right? You get more options and you get to pick and choose the ones that sound the best to you to complete your festival passport. So up first, the experimental prototype Cookies of Tomorrow booth will have the Spaceship Earth tiled gingerbread cookie, which is a cookie stroll item. Picture the triangle shapes on Spaceship Earth, right? That's the shape of the gingerbread cookie. It also looks like it's got a chocolate base, not unlike the shingles found at the Grand Floridian Gingerbread House. Despite the name, Cookies of Tomorrow, which like implies more than one option, this is the only snack served at this booth, right? They'll also have drinks though, like hot cocoa and a gingerbread milkshake, as well as a spiked version of that, and a couple of other drink options as well.
Yeah, I agree. That cookie looks like the shingles from the Grand Flo. I'm not quite sure if we would like that one, since we did not enjoy the shingle as much as probably some other people did.
Yeah, exactly.
But to each his own. Over at Favorites of Festivals Past, which is over at the Communicore Plaza, they will have Reuben croquettes with pastrami, sauerkraut, and Swiss cheese with Thousand Island dressing. They're also going to have a brown sugar and mustard glazed ham sliders with cranberry and apple coleslaw, and a holiday trifle with eggnog custard and cranberry cherry compote. They will also have 3 beer options that you can get as a beer flight.
Yeah, exactly. And over at Connections Eatery in World Discovery, they'll of course have a seasonal spin on their Liege waffle, which will be a holiday sweater Liege waffle. So it's going to be a chocolate-coated brioche waffle with blizzard-themed sprinkles and white chocolate garnish. They're also going to have the Coquito milkshake with French vanilla gelato, cream of coconut, nutmeg, and cinnamon. And you can also get this spiked with rum. The Connections Cafe, which is the Starbucks that is attached and, is in the same building, you just got to walk around the corner. It has a festival offering as well, which is the holiday sugar cookie. This is on the cookie stroll, and really, it's just like a standard cookie, like sugar cookie, right? With sprinkles, pretty unremarkable. And we did have it last year as one of our 5, probably one of our least favorites from the cookie stroll.
It was just, that's like, I like a good sugar cookie.
There was nothing wrong with it.
No, there was nothing wrong with it. It's just that typical sugar cookie.
No, exactly. There's some more themed options.
Yeah,
exactly.
Next up, the holiday hearth desserts will be located over at the Odyssey Pavilion. They have a bunch of options. Most of them are returning options. They'll have the red velvet mini bundt cake, the salted caramel Spaceship Earth cookie, which is cute and definitely Instagrammable.
Yeah, for sure. You've probably seen it. Yep.
The mouse crunch made with red and green M&Ms and what looks like popcorn and milk and white chocolate covered pretzels. They will also have a mint chocolate mousse wreath, which is very cute, super cute, as well as the apple caramel crumble cake, which we had last year, and it was actually quite tasty.
It was, yep.
They will also have the chocolate-covered toffee brittle. So for drinks, they're going to have hot cocoa, frozen caramel hot cocoa, and then several beer options that you can definitely make into a flight if you want to.
Yeah, Holiday Hearth does have a lot of sweet options, so
do.
It's definitely a good stop to make if you're looking for that sweet treat, right? They have like a bunch of different options.
Agreed.
All right, next up, let's head into the World Showcase, and for no particular reason, don't read into this. We're going to start in Mexico, right? And that's Las Posadas Holiday Kitchen. They will have 2 new options, which will be the Empanada de Pollo, which is a fried corn tortilla filled with chipotle chicken and potatoes topped with chile rojo salsa, crema mexicana, and queso fresco. The Tamal de Puerco con mole, which is a shredded pork in corn masa topped with mole negro, queso fresco, crema mexicana, slivered almonds, and sesame seeds.
Oh, those both sound so good.
And they will be, right?
Sorry,
they will
I
be.
just had to add that comment. They just sound amazing.
They always are, right? For something sweet, they're going to have the dulce de leche churro sprinkled with cinnamon sugar, right? They also have a holiday margarita, a coconut guavarita, and a holiday cerveza. The food offerings, like Lucy's saying here, at the Mexico Pavilion are consistently good, right? So this festival should be no different.
I agree. We always enjoy every single thing we have there.
Agreed. Yeah. Even last year, what was it? It was like a giant tostada. And we've told this story before, right? But it was freezing, but this thing was amazing.
So good. It would have been like it was so good cold, like that, and we were freezing, but I'm sure like if the weather had been
if we had
warmer,
been like comfortable, it would have been even better.
It was even better.
Agreed.
And it was hard to get even better.
Yeah.
At the Shanghai Holiday Kitchen in the China Pavilion, you're going to find the XO fried rice with Chinese sausage, onion, and green onion, mushrooms, egg, and house-made Hong Kong XO chili sauce. They also have a beef noodle bowl with a slow-braised beef shank, green onion, and house-made chili oil. That would be delicious. I can just imagine how good that would be.
Agreed, especially on a cold day.
Oh, they also have their returning veggie spring rolls with citrus sauce. And then for beverages, they have several options, including 2 new options. The Taro Bubble Milk Tea, which is non-alcoholic, as well as the Peach of Longevity that has peach schnapps, citrus vodka, pina colada mix, and orange juice. So that would be quite tasty, I think. That
Yeah,
would
it does
be
sound
very
like
citrusy.
it doesn't even, like, I don't know, I don't associate that with, I guess, China.
China,
It sounds more like like a
Mexico,
Caribbean,
or
like a Caribbean drink,
yeah.
right? With a pina colada mix. But
I have a feeling that would be really tasty.
It does sound delicious, yeah. And next door, the Refreshment Outpost, they'll have returning their peanut stew as well as the Dole Whip Raspberry. For beverages, they're going to have 3 beers and a Boyd and Blair Tea Mule. And right next to it, which is possibly our favorite holiday kitchen at this festival, and that's the Bavaria Holiday Kitchen at the Germany Pavilion. They have returning the popular cheese fondue in a bread bowl with steamed veggies and marbled potatoes. We had this last year, and it was divine, right? Again, it was cold, right? So really, really tasty.
So tasty, that bread bowl. Oh,
it's literally, it is what you picture, right?
Yep.
So picture bread, and it's been caved out, so there's like a cheese fondue inside, and they give you the bread that was like inside. They give you
for dipping,
and along with some veggies, and the
like
cheese
potatoes,
is like potatoes,
carrots,
zucchini.
Yeah.
And, you dip the veggies, obviously, in the bread, in the bread bowl, and then you eat the bread bowl. And it's like the cheese is super creamy and warm, and
we could have
amazing.
probably had a second round of that one.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah. They also have the pork schnitzel with mushroom sauce, spatzel, and braised red cabbage. And for sweets, they have returning the Linzer cookie, which is on the cookie stroll. It's the same as last year, except last year it had a jam filling. This year it's a hazelnut filling. This was our favorite cookie that we had. And I'm a sucker for hazelnut filling. Okay, let's face it. It's basically Nutella. Yep. We won't be there to try this year, but we're confident in betting that it's going to be like so good. Probably the best cookie.
No joke. The jam filled one, my favorite cookie.
Yeah,
it was
so
soft,
delicious. It was delicious.
I could have
super
eaten 5
tasty.
of those.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. They're also going to have several beer options, not surprising, available in a flight, as well as a house-made hot spice wine served warm. Not sure about that last one. Warm wine isn't really our thing, but I would definitely have a beer here. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I would like that either. Next up, in the Italy Pavilion for the Tuscany Holiday Kitchen, they will be serving Montanera, which is basically fried house-made pizza dough with pomodoro sauce, parmesan, and then fresh basil. The dolce pizza with cinnamon and sugar, and the panettone, which is a bread pudding with vanilla cream, which is actually new this year. For drinks, they're going to have the creamy eggnog with Italian brandy, a selection of wines, as well as a sangria, a margarita, and a Peroni Pilsner.
Yep. And over at the American Adventure Pavilion, they're going to have a slow roasted turkey with stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, and cranberry sauce. Standard.
I think that was what they had last year too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Standard Christmas offerings, right? The blackened catfish with Hoppin' John and comeback sauce. For sweets, they're going to have the Snickerdoodles cookie made with Snickers bar pieces. This is on the cookie stroll, though I do believe it was served at the Canada Pavilion last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
You're not mistaken at all. It totally was.
That's right.
That.
Yeah. And they're going to have 3 seasonal beers as well that are going to be available in a flight. And the funnel cake stand that is still in the American Adventure Pavilion will have the gingerbread funnel cake with vanilla ice cream, gingerbread crumbs, whipped cream, and red and green sprinkles.
Over at the Japan Pavilion, you're going to find the Shiwazu Holiday Kitchen. They will have returning this sushi tree roll, which is a Christmas tree-shaped sushi roll with crab meat and cream cheese topped with Ikura salmon, roe, and spicy mayo. The Ikura salmon looks like it's a kind of like a little star on the top of the roll, which is actually really cute. We had this last year. It was super tasty and very festive. I really appreciated that it was like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But super delicious. They will also have the toshikoshi soba noodles. And new this year is the mochi donut wrap, which is a soft and chewy fusion pastry served with whipped cream, strawberries, and a strawberry sauce. They're going to have shrimp tempura with chopped green onions, kind of like a sweet and savory situation going on there.
Yep.
They're also going to have a selection of cocktails, both non-alcoholic and alcoholic, as well as a new chocolate Negroni.
Yeah, that's right. And over at the Tangerine Cafe, Flavors of the Medina, the Morocco Pavilion, they're going to have their usual offerings, right? So these don't and haven't really changed from festival to festival in recent years. Don't take that to mean this is bad, though. The food here is unreal.
So good.
Super, super good. They have grilled kebabs with carrot chickpea salad and garlic aioli, and you can get that with either chamula chicken or Moroccan spice lamb. And they also have the stone-baked Moroccan bread with dips here. It comes with like hummus and a couple of other dips. Super, super tasty. For beverages, they'll have a new Cider Boys cranberry raz hard cider and a few other options that will be offered in a flight.
And then between Morocco and France, you're going to find the Lahaim Holiday Kitchen, which will be returning the pastry on rye bread with house-made pickles and deli mustard, a smoked salmon potato latke, a plant-based potato latke, and the rugelach, which is a jam-filled pastry with walnuts and cinnamon. They're also going to have a black and white cookie, which is on the cookie stroll, and that is a plant-based cookie, so just FYI, that's a really good note there. For beverages, they're going to have the Brooklyn Brewery Black Chocolate Stout beer and a frozen New York whiskey sour. Whiskey sour is one of my favorite drinks. I would totally try that.
I did not know that about you. There you go.
When, back in college or
Together
whatever.
like 16 years and I'm still learning.
Whiskey sours were my go-to, probably because I didn't know how to order anything else.
Yeah. And right next door is France, another heavy hitter, right, that produces consistently good options at every festival. And the holiday kitchen here is Le Marché de Noël at the France Pavilion. They're going to have a smoked salmon spread on a sesame brioche roll with cucumber and radishes, a roasted ham with mushrooms, pearl onions, bacon, and white wine mustard, and Darfin roasted herb potatoes. For dessert, they're going to have a chocolate fudge Christmas log with a caramel center, which looks absolutely delicious. If you're going to gamble on a tasty, sweet treat, this would be a top candidate. Yeah, that's just our opinion. But yeah, look at this thing. You probably agree. For drinks, they're going to have the frozen hot chocolate martini, the spiced cranberry punch, and the Chateau Au Beaumont Cabernet Sauvignon.
The UK beer cart will have the frozen hot chocolate orange cocktail, which is hot chocolate, orange syrup, and blood orange liqueur. The Canada popcorn cart will have the Canadian hot toddy, which is maple syrup, honey, black tea, lemon juice, cinnamon, and tap 357 Canadian maple rye whiskey, and this is served warm, as a hot toddy usually is. Yeah. The Yukon Holiday Kitchen, which is also in the Canadian Pavilion, will serve a seared salmon with butternut squash puree, maple bourbon glaze, and a fennel arugula salad. They will also have the beef bourguignon with crushed potatoes, and then for the cookie stroll, they have a peppermint pinwheel cookie. They will also have a selection of beers and wines as well, and the beers will also be available in a flight if you choose to. I remember that peppermint pinwheel
I think
cookie.
It was,
that was right, over
at the Land.
Yes.
Yeah, at Sunshine Seasons.
That's exactly what. So they've kind of
just moved them around
cookies.
a little bit.
Yeah, they're just moving things around to make it seem new. I don't know.
No, yeah, who knows? At the refreshment port near the entrance to Canada, you'll find the turkey poutine with sweet potato fries, turkey gravy, cranberry relish, and crispy onions. They're also going to have a hard cider and wine to choose from. And not far at this World Showcase, they're going to have the liquid nitrogen cake pop, which is a Mickey-shaped chocolate cake dipped in ganache made with red and green M&Ms. They're also going to have vanilla, apple cinnamon, and dark chocolate soft serve. They're also going to have a selection of floats, right, with like pop and essentially these ice creams that you can make into floats.
The Holiday Sweets and Treats booth will have the peppermint sundae with whipped cream and peppermint candy. They will also have a variety of hot cocoa drinks as well as beers that can be available in a flight.
Yep, exactly.
The Mele Kalikimaka, I want to sing every time I say
that.
Holiday Kitchen will be near the World Showcase and Imagination Pavilion. They will be serving Kahlua pork with Okinawa sweet potatoes and mango salad, the Lomi Lomi salmon with tomatoes, onions, salmon roe, yuzu mayonnaise, and yuca chips. You can also have a cookie stroll option that is the coffee mocha cookie topped with coffee-infused buttercream, cocoa nibs, and chocolate-covered espresso beans. That's new this year, and that sounds delicious. We love coffee. We love sweets, so we really can't go wrong there.
Yeah, agreed 100%. I would 100% try that.
You would, yeah. So would I. And for drinks, they're going to have the Melon Breeze, which is actually Dole Whip, pineapple juice, lime juice, lemon liqueur, and Sailor Jerry spiced rum.
Yep. And nearby at the Noche Buena Cocina booth, which was over by Connections Eatery last year. It's kind of in a different place this year. Anyways, they're going to have the plant-based chorizo tamal with cotija and spicy red chile sauce, the pastelón, which is sofrito marinated beef with sweet plantains and olives, and they're going to have returning the cinnamon spice chocolate crinkle cookie, which is on the cookie stroll. They also have the ponche navideño, which is a Christmas punch with apple, pears, guava, oranges, dried hibiscus, brown sugar, tamarind, cinnamon sticks, and cloves, served warm. There's a lot going on there.
That is a lot of flavors.
And the Left Hand Brewing Company Mexican Hot Chocolate Milk Stout. The Chestnuts and Good Cheer Holiday Kitchen right next door will serve cinnamon glazed almonds, cashews or pecans, as well as fire roasted chestnuts. They're going to have eggnog and spiced eggnog with your choice of Fireball whiskey, Mozart chocolate liqueur, or Screwball peanut butter whiskey, as well as the Southern Tier Brewing Company Chestnut Praline Imperial Ale.
And then over at Sunshine Seasons inside the Land Pavilion, they're going to have the peanut butter cookie made with red and green M&Ms, which will also be on the cookie stroll. Oliver is a sucker for peanut butter, so this wasn't an option last year, and we definitely would have gotten that for sure if it had been.
The cookie or like the coffee one and this one for sure would have been one of our 5. Yeah.
Agreed. And the Joffrey's locations throughout the park will also have a couple of festival-specific options. These will be the Merry Mint Cookie Latte, which is a festive blend of espresso, toasted marshmallow syrup, peppermint syrup, dark chocolate sauce, and milk topped with peppermint whipped cream and chocolate cookie crumbs. They will also have this available spiked with Bailey's Original Irish Cream.
Yep, the spiked version should be pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. As always, they will also have a ton of snack options at this festival. And unless you're a local or you're really lucky enough to be able to go to the parks many times over the course of a short festival, like Festival of the Holidays, you're not going to be able to enjoy the vast majority of these menu items, unfortunately. You'll have to kind of go through the foodie guide, find what sounds most appealing to you, and definitely prioritize from there. It's not a bad thing. It's just what it is. For us, it's great because there's always returning items, so you can definitely try maybe something you missed at the previous festival but were intrigued by, and then there's always new options, so you can definitely try those as well. It's a win-win in that sense.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. All right, with the food covered, let's get into some of the other offerings available at the festival for this year. So this year's festival does have some new offerings that weren't available last year, but given that Communicore Hall and Plaza are now open, there is some extra space to house some of these extra offerings, which is great to see. So first up, there will be a brand new gingerbread display like we alluded to earlier. That's going to be inside Communicore Hall. It's going to be an 8-foot tall gingerbread display inspired by none other than Spaceship Earth herself. The gingerbread sphere will be made up of hundreds of geodesic shaped triangles, right? So picture the triangles from Spaceship Earth. Like gingerbread's made of that, and the ones you can buy obviously at the booth right next door. And it's going to be made all of gingerbread, right? And don't ask me how they did it, but just like the real Spaceship Earth, it's going to light up.
Very cool.
I don't know how, but they've done it. We can't wait to see what that's going to look like. Communicore Hall will also be home to Glittering Grove, which is presented by Balsam Hill, where there will be an array of twinkling trees and other decorations to really bring some of that seasonal decor to the new space. It'll be nice to see some extra Christmas decorations versus a bunch of walls like this year for the holiday season, right? Like in recent years, like the last 4 or 5 years, it's all been walled off. Now it's all open. It's going to be full of Christmas stuff. So, it's going to be great to see. And like we mentioned earlier, they're going to have those 2 new food booths here. So that's experimental prototype cookies of tomorrow and favorites of festivals past.
Absolutely. I'm sure they can go really creative with the decorations, and I'll be excited to see all the photos and stuff.
Agreed.
And just outside of Communicore Plaza, there will be a new free, yes, I said it, free activity, which will be snowflake decorating, which could actually be really fun for the kids of all ages. The plaza will also be the new home for Joyful, a celebration of the season. This will be where they perform going forward, so showtimes can be found on the My Disney Experience app. Again, it's nice to see Disney making use of their new space. And then along the walkway between the Imagination Pavilion and the entrance to the World Showcase, there will be Festival Fragrances. This will be a snow globe garden where you'll be able to walk through and enjoy seasonal aromas. I kind of like that. That's fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's always great to see new and fresh offerings and, things to do at the festivals.
Absolutely.
Like they have these new spaces, they're using them. It's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Now, for the returning offerings that are the mainstays of the festival, one of the more popular entertainment options is the Candlelight Processional. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially the story of Christmas retold by a celebrity narrator, and the narrators rotate throughout the festival. The performance includes a mass choir, a 50-piece orchestra, herald trumpets, and the Voices of Liberty that normally perform in the America Adventure Pavilion. This is religious in the sense that it's the story of Christmas, right? So that's just something to be aware of. It's not a bad thing, but just so you know exactly what to expect going in. And if that's something that's going to interest you and your party. The show happens 3 times nightly between November 29th and December 30th at the America Gardens Theater, which is right there at the back at the American Adventure Pavilion. Showtimes are 5 o'clock, 6:45, and 8:15. The celebrity narrators for this year are Josh Gad on November 29th and 30th, Nico Santos. If you're not sure who that is, he was in Superstore as Mateo. He's also appeared in like Crazy Rich Asians, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3, among other movies you may have seen him in.
He's a good actor.
I didn't know. I had to look it up. But now that I've seen his face,
we love Superstore,
I know exactly
the show,
who he is.
So yeah.
Exactly. So he's narrating December 1st and 2nd. Chrissy Metz from This Is Us is December 3rd to 5th. Whoopi Goldberg is December 6th and 7th. Titus Burgess, I don't know who he was, but I had to look it up, right? And he was in The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt from 2015 to 2020. And he's appeared in a bunch of several Broadway musicals. He's going to be narrating December 8th through 10th. Brendan Fraser is December 11th and 12th. Ralph Macchio, the original Karate Kid, is December 13th and 14th. It's going to be his first year this year. Gary Sinise, Lieutenant Dan.
Oh my gosh. What a great actor. That's an exciting one.
Yeah, 100%. So that's going to be December 15th and 16th. Neil Patrick Harris, who is always wildly popular, that's going to be December 17th and 18th. Pat Sajak is going to be December 19th through the 21st. Gloria Estefan, who's a singer and an actress. She was in some movies in the early 90s and early 2000s. She's going to appear in the upcoming Wicked movie as well. She's going to be December 22nd and 23rd. Edward James Olmos, which will be December 24th through 26th. This Is Us, Sterling K. Brown. He's going to be December 27th and 28th. And wrapping it up is Jodie Benson on December 29th and 30th.
That's a good one too. The voice of Ariel.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are some big names.
100%, right? So all of these are listed on the Disney website. If you've got a trip at the very end of this month, right? So in the last couple of days or in December and you want to check out the Candlelight Processional, check to see who is narrating when you're there. Quick note as well is that there's also dining packages available. So you can book dining at an eligible restaurant and get reserved seating for one of the showtimes on the day of your reservation. Reservations have been open for a while now, so it may be slim pickings at this point, just something to be mindful of. But the participating restaurants are Beer Garden, Chef de France, Coral Reef, Garden Grill, La Crêperie de Paris, La Hacienda de San Angel, Le Cellier, Nine Dragons Restaurant, Rose and Crown, Shikisai Sushi Izakaya, Spice Road Table, Tepan Ido, Tutto Italia Ristorante, and Via Napoli. Prices vary by restaurant and range from $41 to $104 per person for adults and $24 to $60 per person for kids.
Yeah, exactly. When we were there last year, we were actually going to see Simu Liu from Shang-Chi, but unfortunately, he had a personal situation that kept him from doing the performances, so we saw Bart Millard instead. To be honest, neither of us knew who he was, but it was still a great show and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, agreed.
We were able to get really good seats despite not having a dining package reservation, but this is definitely harder to do on some of those more popular narrators' nights. Yeah. So just something to keep in mind there.
Nothing against Bart Millard, but it's just, I think a lot of people didn't know who he was, so it wasn't super busy that night. But like, expect
Neil Patrick Harris,
exactly,
you're not going to
Brendan
find those kinds of
Fraser,
seats.
Ralph Macchio, like those big names that everybody knows. Those are going to be busy for sure.
Agreed.
In the pavilions across the world showcase, you're also going to see holiday storytellers sharing holiday traditions, lore, and legends from all over the world. The showtimes are found on the My Disney Experience app, and you're going to see them performing as you're walking around throughout the day. Right? They kind of like are going on at any given time.
Sporadically, yeah.
Yeah. In the Mexico Pavilion, it's Las Posadas celebration with dancers, piñatas, and mariachi cobre music. Over in Norway, it's what Disney calls a mischievous magical barn Santa as he visits Sigrid, an unsuspecting Christmas storyteller. The Sisu Trio perform in the China Pavilion with traditional folk music, and there are also Chinese line dancers here as well. La Befana is in the Italy Pavilion, which is the story of a kind-hearted witch that visits sleeping young children on the eve of the Epiphany, which sounds terrifying, but it is endearing when you actually see it, right?
It's like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, exactly. In the Japan Pavilion, it's the story of the Daruma doll and the Japanese customs surrounding New Year's. Between Morocco and France, you'll have a storyteller recount the traditions of Hanukkah. Père Noël is at the France Pavilion, and Father Christmas shares UK traditions at the UK Pavilion. And you get to explore holiday customs from various regions across Canada on a musical tour at the Canadian Pavilion.
Yeah, we didn't see all of these, but we definitely did catch the Norway Santa, La Befana in Italy, and then the Père Noël in France during our last visit. They were really great shows. And also a really talented musician at the Hanukkah story, which was really good.
Yeah, he was like playing the guitar, and he was like super, super good.
Yeah,
beautiful voice.
He was super impressive.
Yeah. Other offerings are Joyful, a celebration of the season, which is a musical group, and they used to perform at the entrance to the World Showcase. But like Lucy said earlier, that's moved to Community Plaza stage, like that new stage for this year, which is great. You're also going to find Santa at the Odyssey Pavilion from November 29th through December 24th. He's going to be busy after that. And there's going to be a Disney PhotoPass photographer there, of course, to capture the moment. He's going to be there on a rotational basis throughout the day, so check the My Disney Experience app for any changes on that front.
Kids or kids at heart can take part in Olaf's Holiday Tradition Expedition, which is the festival's version of a scavenger hunt. Here's how it works for this festival. You purchase your map and stickers from one of the merchandise locations at the park, Creation Shop and the World Traveler being the most central.
Yeah, exactly. Like Creation Shop is that big store, right? Like basically right in the middle of the park. And World Traveler is at the entrance to the International Gateway entrance.
Yeah. This costs $10, and then using those stickers, you're going to find Olaf around the World Showcase and mark the tradition in each pavilion. At the end, bring your map back to Disney Traders, Creation Shop, or World Traveler to redeem your map for a prize. Heads up, if you don't want to, or if you run out of time and can't finish the hunt, you can definitely still redeem your prize. Disney's not going to deny you that.
No, exactly. You could purchase it and redeem right away if you really wanted to. And of course, Living with the Land is getting its seasonal overlay and becomes glimmering greenhouses for the season. So the first part of the attraction with a different landscape doesn't get much of anything, right? But the greenhouses and the second part of the attraction gets a ton of Christmas decor and lights. It's definitely worth checking out. We love this attraction at any given time, but it's like next level during the holidays.
It's so good.
And actually, like the wait times when we were there at Christmas time last year was the highest I'd ever seen it. Like it was like
30, 40 minutes.
It was pushing 50 minutes. Yeah. It was pushing 50 minutes for Living with the Land, which if you know Epcot at all and Living with the Land, it's never that much of a wait. Like
10
most
minutes
days,
max, if that.
exactly, or walk on. But yeah, like almost an hour. So yeah, it's busy.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Festival of the Holidays is one of our favorites. For food and wine is definitely the best, but there's just something about Disney World at the holidays, and EPCOT is no different. We love seeing the park decked out in the Christmas decorations, the massive tree at the entrance to the World Showcase. It's so beautiful.
Agreed.
I can't even describe it. The festive and comfort food offerings at the holiday kitchens, it's just really a great festival, and it's definitely worth taking part of during your trip. You've heard us say this before about the festivals at EPCOT. The great thing about them is that you don't need to take part in any of it if you don't want to. You can participate in as little or as much as you want, which is actually a really great way to enhance your park day. We actually love the festivals because we'll usually, and when we say usually, we mean always.
Always, yeah.
We'll always do the food scavenger hunt. So we'll pop in and out of EPCOT over the course of our trip just to grab some food items and then complete whatever the food hunt is at that specific festival.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Like we said, we have a deeper appreciation for EPCOT and the festival, especially now, right? It's definitely one of our favorite things to do at the parks nowadays.
Like if you think about the first time you ever went to EPCOT in 2014, I think you enjoyed yourself, but you really didn't know what was going on.
No, that's the thing. And, we looped around the World Showcase. We did a few rides and we were like, hey, I think we ended like super early that day.
And that was probably our earliest day.
No, exactly. And now I legit want to spend full days at EPCOT and I want to go back multiple times during the trip. Exactly.
Ride Guardians as much as we can.
Like honestly, I love just hopping on the Skyliner, popping into EPCOT, grabbing a few snacks, maybe hopping on Remy's, hopping on Guardians.
Yeah. So we do understand why first timers feel that way because we did feel that way too. We promise if you get the luxury of being able to go back multiple times, it'll grow on you.
No, 100%. And that's the thing. It's what we alluded to earlier, right? It's not that people don't like EPCOT. I think they just don't know everything it has to offer. Yeah. Or they're like have an expectation that it's going to be exactly like Magic Kingdom. It's going to be go, rides. But there's just so much more going on and it's a different pace. There's different things going on.
You just have to embrace the
vibes. Exactly. 100%. Right.
Yeah,
exactly. So with that said, thank you for joining us today to talk Festival of the Holidays. We hope this gave you a good idea of what's available at this festival for 2024. And it's going to help you narrow down what you'd like to experience and what food and snacks you may want to prioritize. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave it right on Apple Podcasts. And for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at letsgo.to-disney, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to Disney. We share some helpful reels here, as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes will take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day, and we'll see you real soon.